Hello, this is the Hermetic Hipster. Before I get into this video, I'd just like to quickly correct myself. A friend pointed out a mistake I made in my last video, and that the avatar background is not restricted to being bought only at character creation, as the rules is written, and this was actually just a house rule used by our playgroup. Sorry for anybody I misled. This video is going to be shorter, and I'm trying to go for a commentary style of video after the great feedback from my last one, and also shorter ones that don't take as long time to make and edit so that I can do them more frequently. This video is going to look at the use of fate and fortune in games of Mage, usually in the form of the entropy sphere. This is because on forums and in discussions I often hear phrases like entropy magic can do anything, or entropy is overpowered, or players and STs having trouble working out how exactly to apply the very open idea of altering probability in games of Mage the Ascension. But first, a message from our sponsor.
Here at INGSOC VPN, we know how much you value your privacy, because we value it too. Traditional ways of protecting yourself while you browse online often can't be trusted. And do you really know who is seeing your information? That's why our VPN works in partnership with Sunburst Computers, part of the trusted Pentex family, so you know you can trust us. The consensus among our users is that INGSOC VPN is the best that money can buy. So why not try it today? Head on over to our website in the description, and for a limited time enter the code HermeticHipster for a third off our standard price of $9.99 a month. INGSOC VPN. You can trust us. See below for terms and conditions.
While all sphere effects have vast applications in Mage, the sheer scope of what you can do being one of the game's great appeals, the sphere of entropy suffers more than most with a lack of structure to it. When I first played Mage, I had other players and forum posts telling me that entropy can do anything, because anything is possible. I frankly found it a bit off-putting that a single sphere was being touted as the be-all and end-all, with players telling me that you can combine it with life to make people have heart attacks, become immune to being hit in combat, and automatically succeed on anything you attempt. Several of the unofficial but popular online sources also support this in their write-ups. But is that how it's supposed to work? I would definitely argue that it's not, and this video will discuss applications of entropy magic in various forms and ways to apply them to your games that I feel are more reasonable and interesting than I sometimes see the sphere being presented. There are several types of rotes and effects that entropy can do that are not linked to fate or fortune, at least not primarily. Detection of weaknesses, disintegration, and binding oaths, and other effects that are linked to fate, but this video will look directly actually at luck spells. The difficulty with this type of effect is honestly understandable, as it's such an intangible thing, and that is also true in the world of Mage the Ascension. Fate as a trope is famously impossible to guarantee, and those who attempt to force chance's hand often end up getting their just deserts. For this purpose though, I usually separate fortune effects into two types, passive fortune and directed fortune. Passive fortune effects are when a will worker alters the probability of a target in general, often for an extended period, and is actually very simple to apply in my opinion. Simply choose the person or thing you wish to make lucky or unlucky, and alter the mechanical probability in the correct direction. The most obvious version of this is altering difficulties in combat. With rank 2 in the sphere, you can add or reduce a target's chance of being struck by up to plus or minus 3. In this way you can actually be meta, with the game's arbiters of fate and fortune, the dice, being literally weighted in your favour. This is also a listed book effect, but there are other ways to apply good luck or bad luck in the various sourcebooks too. In Gods and Monsters, the good luck, bad luck spirit charms could be co-opted easily as rotes, giving a character an even stronger boost for luck for a specific role, outside of the passive of fortunes of the difficulty alterations, and the beginner's luck rote does a similar thing, giving heightened fortune for a specific task, in this example harnessing the hyper-narrative, the idea of beginner's luck. These effects in no way guarantee success or failure. The mechanics elegantly mimic the real-world effect, literally stacking the dice in your favour, as I said. Another example of this type of effect could be disaster or miracle effect, where you push the limits of fate to cause something truly dire or miraculous to occur. My suggestion for this is telling your storyteller, for example, I am doing an immediate and brutal disaster curse on my target, and then have the storyteller come up with what that calamity is. The result should be believable, coincidental, and often cinematic for the scene. like your pursuers running over a broken bottle, popping their tires, your quarry slipping on a pool of motor oil, or your financial rival's stock briefly plummets thanks to a natural disaster on the other side of the world. I consider this a passive effect because although the mage is controlling probability, they are not controlling anything directly, letting the universe correct itself at the target's expense or benefit. Enhanced control of the exact results over the game table to the storyteller. Next, we come to the more problematic fortune effects, targeted fortune. With this kind of effect, a mage makes an event or circumstance happen that might not have otherwise. In conversations, I've had hyperbolic examples given to me, but technically everything is possible in the scope of the universe, so with this type of effect, you could just make somebody turn into gold or disappear from reality entirely. Although these are extreme, more reasonable ideas have been put forward that have still involved satellites falling out of the sky or sudden unexpected aneurysms, but these for me also fall far from a happy solution to taking a direct hand in fate. I do, however, think that trying to directly alter fate should be something fortune mages can do, with things like rigged horse races, random security checks, or poker hands being entirely within a luck mage's purview. The Guide to Technocracy actually has a very good system for this in the rote Actively Actorial on page 208. The rote lets players name an event they want to make happen by pulling on the strings of fate, and the storyteller decides on a number between 1 and 20 for its likelihood of occurring without any interference, 1 being a simple and easy to occur event, and 20-ish dice being the infamous Damocles satellite. The scale also is taken into account in the impact and size of the event you wish to create, as larger effects need to push more against the consensus. Once you have your number, you simply need to achieve that many successes on a casting roll. I like this system because, in theory, you could cause a massive billion-to-1 chance event occurring, but the effort and time involved to make such a thing happen mean it simply might be easy to cause the action directly in some other manner. Also, if you are able to achieve a 20 success grand ritual, then honestly, I'm okay with something pretty dramatic happening. The system doesn't treat all probabilities as equal, and completely disregards things that might mathematically be considered possible, but under our consensus rules are not. In the description, I've included a chart that you could use to choose as examples of the amount of magical push that might be needed in this kind of road. For all luck effects, remember that you are manipulating the already present and possible. This means that many fortune effects are coincidental, even large effects, but persistent or long-term luck will become vulgar. Hitting a hole-in-one as a first-time golfer is unlikely, but possible. Hitting 5 holes-in-one in a row is pushing the suspension of disbelief. Additionally, I would like to say as well that although not directly about fate or fortune, if a luck effect goes wrong due to a botched roll, and the storyteller decides to apply a paradox backlash, consider using the Hex Paradox Spirit from M20 Gods and Monsters. Hex is in my mind the perfect embodiment of a luck backlash, inflicting a mage who dabbles and manipulates fortune and fate with a streak of very bad luck of their own. Fate, fortune and luck are an interesting part of games of mage, but often difficult to apply due to the necessary vagueness of this types of magic, and I hope that what you have heard here may help out any struggling players or storytellers to use fortune more clearly in their games. I'd just like to say a massive thank you to Will Rodriguez for lending his talented voice to this video. And as always, if you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it, as every suggestion has been really helpful so far. Also, my Instagram has over 100 followers now, and feel free to follow it. I basically just share the awesome art of the books that I've looked at, and there is a link in the description. This has been the Hermetic Hipster, and thank you very much for watching.